Hey guys, this is Blair with the Taylor team, and I've got Jenny, our transaction coordinator today. And today we're going to just talk about questions surrounding the closing process and just things like that. Okay. So Jenny, what are the steps within the closing process? Just go through those individually.
You bet. So we're going to get under contract, and then we'll send your contract over to the title company. We'll also make sure that the buyer's lender gets a copy of the contract. Then about 10 business days after everybody signs, you're going to have your inspection, and they're going to come to you with any list of repairs they might want. And then once you guys agree on that, then you're going to have an appraisal and figure out how much your house is worth. Then the title company will get all the paperwork in line just to make sure that you own the house free and clear. And then we go and close.
Perfect. And so what should you bring to the closing table?
Well, you definitely want to check your driver's license, make sure it's not expired. That happens a lot. And if you're buying, you'll want to check with your lender to find out if you need to bring a check or not.
Okay, gotcha. And then I know another thing too, you got to constantly remind people is cashier's check, not personal check.
That's absolutely correct. Make sure it's signed too, because sometimes the bank forgets to sign it.
Gotcha. And then how long does this closing process take?
It takes about 30 days for an average lender to get the loan process done. Title work can usually be done in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So if it's cash with no lender, it can be really quick.
Okay, gotcha. And so tell me about, what are the seller's responsibilities during this closing process? Everybody asks me that. They're like, what do I got to do?
Right.
So, what are their responsibilities, and do they have to remember things, or?
Pretty much, you need to make sure that you're packed up and ready to move out on the day that you sign.
Mm-hmm.
You'll want to make sure your utilities stay on through the whole process until the day after closing, just in case something goes down and squirrely at the end. Pretty much, you sit back and we'll take the reins and get you all the way to the end.
So I tell people all the time, you're not going to forget anything. They're like, what about termite, or what about if Jenny calls, just answer.
Right.
She'll remind you. She'll tell you what to do.
We'll get you there.
Exactly. And so now, what are the buyer's responsibilities during the closing process? Because I know that correlates with your seller.
It does. You'll definitely want to make sure your lender has all the paperwork that they need up front, so there's no delays. We don't want to delay the closing. So you'll make sure they have the pay stubs and all of that. You'll definitely want to look into your utilities and your internet. Go ahead and get that set up for the end. Is there anything I'm forgetting?
Well, I think the main thing is with the pay stubs or tax returns, let's not give it to them in 3 weeks, because when you finally give it to them, the lender's gonna be like, well, they didn't give us their stuff till late, so now we're closing late. So if you want to close on time, then be proactive with your lender and be like, you need anything else? You need anything else? If you do that, then you'll close on time.
Exactly.
If you don't, then they're going to make an excuse, and we got to go to the seller and try to talk them into an extension.
Right. Nobody likes that.
Right. And then, of course, the last thing is, so Jenny can give you specifics and a detailed net proceeds sheet to let you know what your proceeds are at closing. But she always says, Blair, how do you calculate that again as far as just your overall? Okay, so this is not something that you can take. It's not the Bible, okay? But from what I can tell, as long as you've paid your last year's taxes, okay, then if you want to know as a seller about what are my closing costs, it's going to be about 1.25%, so 1.25% of the overall purchase price. So it just allows you to do a quick number, to get a quick ballpark, especially if you're making a decision when Jenny brings you an offer of whether we're going to go with it or not. Then after that, she can give you an exact net proceeds sheet from the title company, or they can fill it out to let you know exactly what you're going to take home at the end of the day.
Right.
So the only other thing I would mention too is, to kind of pay attention to is if you've lived there for longer than 2 years, then most of the time your net or your money is your money. Okay, so you're not paying taxes on that unless you get above certain limits, which are pretty high. Okay, so it's just good to know that, because when we run the net and we can look at it situation by situation, that's the money that you're going to get.
Right.
As long as your gain's not too high, but that's high enough that we're not really dealing with that a lot in our area.
Mm-hmm.
So Anything else you think of?
That's the closing process.
So, guys, this is the process, the closing process, really directed more to the seller, right? But this hopefully gives you a better idea of what we do, how it works, and then what you want to prepare for. So, if you guys got any questions, just send us an email or give us a call at the link below.
Oh, yeah.
And otherwise, we'll see you next time. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye.